This is what happens when you sit down with a financial advisor and they say, okay, what do you think your risk tolerance is? That's how they base everything that they're going to do with your money in terms of investing based on this risk tolerance. And so you sit there and maybe you've given this some thought, but probably not on as deep a level as you should. So you answer the question either from a place of fear, or you answer it because you're a big risk taker from a place of, just go for it. I want the highest return I can get. Or you answer it from a place of, well, I don't know, but I probably should answer it like this.
Hey there, and welcome to Money and You. I'm Michelle Perkins, your host. My search for more fulfilling work led me to career and business coaching, where I stumbled upon a game-changing discovery. Money issues often start with our mindset and habits. You see, our relationship with money is the key to overcoming those frustrating financial obstacles. As an entrepreneur, coach, and problem solver, I'm passionate about helping you create a great relationship with money. Because, turns out, that's the foundation for a limit-free life. Each week on Money and You, I speak with amazing guests about all things money, mindset, practical tips, and everything in between. We're here to give you new insights, education, and empowerment so money can be one of your favorite relationships. So join us for some lively conversations and let's transform your financial life together.
Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Money and You Show. I'm Michelle Perkins, your host. I am so happy to talk to you today. I have a great topic that I'm titling, Who Are You with Money? Because I think this is one of the questions that we should all ask each other, or ourselves, actually. I guess you can ask somebody else too, but mostly ask yourself, who am I with money? And the crazy thing about money is that we go out and we learn things and we think it's all so practical and so linear and so intellectual and I know if you've ever listened to the show, you're hearing me talk about how it's actually so emotional and so like rooted in your kind of deep levels of your psyche and your subconscious, and so based on your beliefs and your thoughts. And the thing is that you actually can't operate with money just from a practical standpoint. So, and this is where I love to equate it with a relationship. And that's really what I want to talk about today. Because if you are in a relationship with anybody, a partner, a child, a parent, a friend, a colleague, any relationship requires that for it to be good anyway, requires that you know something about yourself, right? So you have to understand yourself. If you ever go to counseling for a relationship, they're going to try to get you not to fix the relationship first, but to understand yourself. What triggers you? What makes you sad? What makes you happy? What do you actually say and how do you say it? I mean, there's so much to a relationship that, is about communication, is about feelings, it's about reacting versus responding, kind of slowing it down and thinking before you react. And to even figure out, when that's hard and when that's easy. I've been to relationship counseling and it's really, you go in there like, wanting to fix whoever you're in there because of. And actually the whole process is just about understanding yourself. I feel like money is the same. And I feel like people do not talk about this crucial step and all the trip ups and the problems and the things that happen with you and your money along the way. Many, many, many of them are because you don't actually know who you are with money. And because we don't typically think of it as a regular relationship, you might ask that question, who am I in a marriage or who am I as a daughter? But because money isn't typically perceived as a relationship, we don't really ask that question. Literally the most important question you can ask yourself before you launch into all the bigger, more exciting financial things that you want to do with your money, stop and ask yourself, and really reflect. Don't just ask yourself, because here's what happens when we just ask ourselves. This is what happens when you sit down with a financial advisor and they say, okay, what do you think your risk tolerance is? That's how they base everything that they're going to do with your money in terms of investing based on this risk tolerance. And so you sit there and maybe you've given this some thought, but probably not on as deep a level as you should. So you answer the question either from a place of fear, or you answer it because you're a big risk taker from a place of, just go for it. I want the highest return I can get. Or you answer it from a place of, well, I don't know, but I probably should answer it like this. So maybe you go somewhere in the middle because you really don't know what your risk tolerance is. You really don't even know anything about yourself with money. So here are the things you know about yourself with money. And if somebody says, how are you with money? You might say something like, I'm not so great with money. I don't really understand money. I'm terrible with money. You might answer the question like, I don't know. I don't spend, I don't really pay attention to it. Or I have a lot of trouble with money. I never seem to do, and then fill in the blank, earn enough, save enough, pay off my debt enough. There are so many things that you might think about your money. They may be true. Maybe you aren't saving enough, at least, although that's, enough is obviously not defined here. But what I really want you to start thinking about is the way you answer those questions. That is more about you than anything else. So if you're answering, I don't earn enough and I don't save enough, who are you with money? Go back to that question. Who are you with money? Do you avoid conversations about it? Do you not think about it very much? Do you take whatever is given to you without asking for more, for example? Do you not budget? So actually you have no idea if you could save more or not. Do you, the questions could go on forever, and I'm not going to list them all for you because you can think of your own. But that saying when people talk about what's getting in your way, and the typical answer is you're getting in your own way. This is exactly what happens with money. We get in our own way, not intentionally, but mostly because of a lack of awareness and a lack of understanding about who we are with money. So when you don't know who you are, you often get in your own way. When you don't know why you're doing things, when you haven't given it very much thought, then you're just reacting. You're operating from a place of just kind of automatic patterns and habits. So you don't really know why you're doing things. Now, if you're in a regular relationship and you keep snapping at your partner and you get mad at them a lot and you say kind of rude things to them, you might step back and ask yourself, why am I doing that? I mean, I just keep jumping down this person's throat. Why? What's going on? What about me what's happening in me that is causing me to do that? And yet with our money, we don't. We do a lot of automatic things. We automatically spend. We automatically give money to our friends and don't ask them to pay it back, or, we're at dinner and, let me pick up the tab. We don't really think, not that there's anything wrong with that. Obviously, that's very generous and very nice. But if you're not meeting any of your money goals, then you have to ask yourself, who am I with money? And why am I operating like this? Why do I keep picking up the tab for everybody and then going home and looking at my account going, oh boy, I can't pay my bills? What is happening? There's something under the surface. There are beliefs you might have. There are needs you might have. Maybe you want people to like you more, and that's one way to get them to like you. These are not bad things. I mean, they might sound, like, ooh, that's not me. This is many people. So the way we are with money comes from, early in our lives, what we saw our parents doing, what we saw friends doing, what we saw or what we heard teachers say to us, or, church members say to us, whatever it is, it comes from a place of many messages that are coming to us when we're little. And so those get lodged in our subconscious, and then later they dictate our decision-making, and we don't know what's going on. So I'm going to talk to you about the 3 most important steps that you can take toward a better financial future. And this is all predicated on knowing who you are with money. So if nothing else, if you need to run, take this with you. Just because I'm asking you this question doesn't mean, a 2-second answer is the answer. So this is one of those questions that you actually want to ask yourself on a regular basis. You want to write about it. You want to think about it. You want to have it in your consciousness. So as you go about your life and you start doing things and, you're doing whatever with money, you're paying your bills or you're looking at your bank accounts or you're putting money into an investment or whatever, this is when you want to reflect. Each money decision is actually a great learning opportunity to reflect on yourself. What am I thinking? Does this make me scared? Does this make me happy? Does this make me feel uncomfortable? What is going on? And then go deeper and try to figure out why. It's the why underneath. And most of us stay kind of surface level with money, especially if we're asking questions like this. It is just like when the financial advisor asks you for your risk tolerance. They basically ask that question, you think about it for 2 minutes, you answer, and then your whole investment life is based on that. Everything they do for you is based on that. And it's literally like a 5-minute discussion. So nothing wrong with that discussion, but chances are you haven't thought it through very much. So this question that you can ask yourself about who are you with money, this is that question that you journal about. You ask yourself maybe every Monday morning, maybe every Friday morning. I mean, this question is not one that you answer in 5 minutes and then forget about. So this is the key. Just like in a regular relationship, it's not going to take 5 minutes to improve that relationship. You need to keep working on it. So you keep thinking about it. You keep answering the question. You keep writing and reflecting and pondering this question, because the more you know about who you are with money, the better your financial situation is going to be. I can say that with 100% certainty. Okay, so as far as those 3 most important steps to building a better financial future, I should have said at the beginning, that's what I was going to talk about, but I didn't. So first question you want to ask yourself, the question that no one asks, again, who am I with money? And come up with real answers. This question is the key to your actual money issues. Not saving enough, not earning enough, not understanding enough about investments to actually do anything, investment wise. This is where you stop and try to figure out who are you with money. And that is going to bring up the answers for you and allow you to go forward, making some changes. Now, I consider myself sort of a financial strategist, helping people with their financial well-being. Financial well-being goes way beyond a big bank account. I mean, big bank account is nice, right? But financial well-being is about knowing yourself on a deeper level and what financial success even looks like for you, because it's literally different for every single person. And it doesn't necessarily mean a huge bank account. It might just mean that you have the choices that you want in your life. It might mean that you don't have to go to the grocery store and have a budget or a limit on what you spend at the grocery store. Or, it might be that you get to go buy that yacht you've always wanted. There is no right and wrong, and it is all about you. Again, if you don't know yourself very well, you can't really figure out what it is that you need to achieve that financial well-being, which is more of a sense of ease, of comfort, peace, of happiness, of joy. So, how you gain those things, that's different for everybody. So, okay, so the big question of who you are with money, that needs to be answered. And the next thing that you really want to understand is, who are you with money? So, I mean, not who, I've asked that question 26 times. That's not what that is what you need to know, right? But you want to understand your money personality. That's kind of the next level. So who am I with money? Oh, I'm somebody who avoids it like the plague. I'm somebody who's scared of it. I'm somebody who loves it. I'm somebody who, answer that question, but go deep. The second thing is that you actually have a money personality. And that money personality has some very distinct attributes. So for every money personality, There are strengths, there are gifts, and there are challenges or weaknesses. So there are some archetypes, that's like models of behavior. And there is an assessment that I give people that has 8 archetypes. So it's a personality assessment for your money, and it determines which archetype you are. And of the 8 archetypes, it will illustrate your strengths, gifts, and challenges around money. Those are based on your beliefs. So if you believe something about money, then that will show up, and the strengths and gifts and challenges will be what you can leverage, because if you have strengths and gifts in an area, you can leverage those. And then the challenges are what you need to work on. So for example, if you are a nurture archetype, that's my top one actually. So the nurture archetype is one who has certain beliefs around money, and this assessment will help you understand what those beliefs are. And the strengths and gifts of that nurture are that they are very giving, they're very generous, they're very loyal, they provide great service, they are very caring about other people. And so those are positives. Those are, positives for that archetype. They're strengths and gifts that you can leverage. So in my business, those come in very handy. Comes in very handy when you're coaching clients to care about them and to be generous with, whatever information you're providing and things like that. I think that's part of why I like doing this podcast. It's sort of a nurturing thing that I can put out there into the world to help people and, reach more people than I can just talking one-on-one to folks. The challenges, however, every single one of them has both gifts and strengths, but also sort of a shadow side, which is that some things can be taken too far. So give too much, guess what? You can become a little resentful, or you can become a martyr. There are some things that are not so attractive, actually, when the nurturer takes it too far. And for every archetype, that's the case. So what do you need to do as a nurturer? You need to set some boundaries for yourself, or you'll just kind of go overboard and then you'll become super annoying. So I love assessing your personality. I love that whether we're talking about money. I love it when we're talking about career. I always start every new career coaching client with an assessment. I love Strengths Finders. There's several good ones out there, but an assessment is a great place to start a conversation. And you can start that conversation, for example, with me, but then that conversation goes on in your own mind with yourself. And that's where all the juicy stuff will emerge and help you to live a better financial life. So knowing who you are with money, understanding your money personality, that's like next level, because that really illustrates the behaviors and things and how they're coming about and how they're impacting you. And then the third most important thing is execution. So you've learned who you are, you've learned some of your strengths and gifts and challenges. You need to figure out how you can not just learn and study, whether that's money and finance or whether that's yourself. I mean, at some point, the studying needs to still go on. You can study forever, but you have to take some action. There's no point at which you'll say, I know enough that now it's time. And that's, I think, the problem. People stay a little bit stuck with money because there's always more to learn. There's always more to understand, and they want to understand it all before they take any action. So action in small steps leads to wealth creation for sure. It also helps you learn, because we learn best by doing, right? So if you're not sure about something, put your toe in, do it a little bit, and see how that works out for you. I'll give you a little story. My daughter has been investing and she is working. So the other day she told me, the more money I make, the less I want to spend. And trust me, she's a big time spender. So it was very interesting to me, because she's starting to see that. And she told me, she's like, the more money I make, the more I just, I don't really want to buy things. I want to put that money in something, because that will grow that money, so it's much more fun to watch that money grow than it is to spend it like she used to like to do. So I thought that was very interesting that was just sort of unfolding. And my response to that was, well, that is in fact how people get wealthy. They turn that corner and realize that and start growing their money, having their money work for them, and make that choice, make that decision more often than the decision to spend. And so I thought that was kind of cool. So here's the deal. Before you launch into anything and while you're learning and getting a financial education, make sure that you don't forget to educate yourself on yourself. So learn who you are and learn what your money personality is. I can help you with that. If you would like to take my assessment, you can reach out to me at Michelle, 2Ls, at limitfreelife.com. And I love sharing this assessment. This is actually how I got myself into this work, because I did the assessment and it was so good and it taught me so much. And even though I had a financial background, that assessment actually, like, all the light bulbs went on and I understood what I was doing with my own finances at a time when I wasn't being very smart. That's how I learned. That's how I figured out, yeah, I can know a lot of things, but what I'm doing is something entirely different. And why am I doing it? Because of my money personality and these thoughts and beliefs that have led me to have that money personality. So get to know yourself with money before you dive into, too many other things. And you're going to understand so much that everything, the whole path is going to become much clearer and open up before you so that you can get on this financial journey to your own financial well-being. So that's my show today. I know people do not take the time for this. And so I know I went on and on about it, but knowing who you are with money is the best time you can spend. And don't do it once, do it multiple times, do it every week, think about it, reflect on it. And you'll have your own questions about it. And there are many people out there that can help you unravel some of your own confusion or questions. And it gets to be really fun to understand yourself, and you will have a better relationship. So thank you for listening. If you like the show, or if you think somebody could use this show, then please share it. And if you'd like to leave us a review or rating, that is always welcome. And we will be back with another Money and You show next week. We show up every week. I did want to also say, please review the Money and You shows, because we have had experts in like every area. There's a lot on this kind of topic, on your relationship with money, your beliefs around money, how to shift that, how to be, believe in better things for yourself with money. It's also a lot of practical shows on investing, on real estate, on passive investments, on long-term care insurance and medical bills. And I mean, we have really a huge diverse library of shows. So please subscribe and, go through and see what's out there and what can help you, because knowledge is power. And if you couple that with some execution and taking some actions of your own, you will see very quickly how much more confident you are and how much more control you seem to have over your money. And that's the path to financial freedom. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.